Hi, this is Alice Bull from ScrapHappy.org, and I am at the Ranger booth at Creativation 2020 with Simon Hurley. Hi, Simon.
Hi, I'm so excited. This is awesome. So I'm going to be sharing some of the new releases here. I remember you guys last year, you stopped by, which was super awesome when my line first started, and now we're adding on a couple things. We really thought this out to make things more versatile too, which is so cool, and that's kind of the whole meaning of my line, which is exciting. So we'll walk through all of that as well as we go on.
So I'll confess, it was kind of hard on the pocketbook when I left because I added some of the stuff to my own collection and I had fun playing with it.
Right.
It was so suitable for my needs with my scrapbooking, card making, and more. So
that's so awesome. Thank you so much. Right, and for guys too, it's really good. But it's also, most of the designs are gender neutral. But I find that a lot of the other stuff on the market is so cutesy that this is a really great line for if you want to do it for guys or girls, which is great.
I have 2 boys, so I totally feel that.
Nice. So yeah, we've added 6 new colors onto the ink line. Now, if you don't know about my inks yet, these are water-reactive, dye-based inks, so they are really great at watercolor, really great at blending, and really great at stamping. They're a whole new formulation. That's why I wanted to work with Ranger. We actually go in with the chemist and we kind of say what we want with our inks and have anything changed. We made a lot of changes, and this is a whole new formulation. So it's really good at watercolor, stamping, and blending. A lot of the inks on the market I find are good at 1 or 2 things and not great at the other. And so this really covers all bases, which is awesome.
Yay.
So yeah, we released a rainbow assortment of 12 colors in the first release. Now we're going into some more fun colors and some more colors that kind of really fill out the line. So let me grab some swatches here. This one's called Piggyback, so we're continuing the fun names to the inks, which is awesome. This is just a lighter pink tone, and also it's a little bit warmer than the other pinks. This one was Rosy Cheeks, and Bee Sting is my darker red. And so these are going to layer up nicely, but it will also give you a whole new color tone with that warmer color, which is great. We make sure that we do that instead of just giving a bunch of shades of the same tone. Having different color tones in there is really important too, and they can still layer up beautifully. So having Guppy in here is really awesome because the last orange we had was Traffic Cone. It's very different oranges. This one's more of a honey, warm-toned orange that'll go great with the yellows, but it really fills in the line if you want a more warmer orange, which is great.
I love that color.
Thanks. Yeah, and they layer up together really nicely too, which is great. I've been blending those together and stamping them together as well. This one's called Psych, and that's because I didn't really know if it was a green or a yellow. It kind of works along with both. It has undertones of both colors. So depending on what you put it with, especially when you're blending and things like that, it really blends in with whatever color family you want, which is really great, and adds tons of versatility to the line, which is awesome. If a color doesn't know what it is, it's a good thing. Same with Minty Fresh here. It can kind of be a greenish blue color, but it also has gray undertones. When I first chose it, I was very sure that it was a neutral, because it goes along really great with the Woof and Gur, but it has lots of gray undertones in there, but it also goes along really well with the blues and greens. And Tropical Tango's right in here as well. It's a really great teal, rich, vibrant color. We had lots of great blues and we had lots of great greens. So now we're filling in with the teal, which is really versatile and a great, awesome, strong color to use. Oh, and I wanted to share too, these are the other 2 blues. We didn't release any new blues, but having those blue greens in the line really mixes those all together too.
I want to go on a tropical holiday after looking at those.
Right? These are all super bright, so we wanted to release them now, right? So then this next one is called Crown Me, and everybody's been waiting for this one because they wanted a darker, more rich, vibrant, saturated purple, and also with a blue base. So this one's got a blue base to it instead of having that more warmer tone base to it as well, which is awesome. The one thing we found out about my inks kind of at the trade show is, let me grab this sheet right here. The one thing we found out is my product manager walked over and said, you know, I would blend reds and oranges together and get a really great blend, and I would blend blues and greens together and get a really great blend, but you seem to go in with lots of different colors and still get great results. And I was like, I think it's in the ink because they blend really well on the stark white cardstock. This is my cardstock. And the reason why I recommend using this is because it's not a coated surface. A lot of the cardstocks on the market are coated and they don't really sink into the surface, and they also will kind of leave fingerprints because they don't dry right away. Whereas this takes the ink, makes it a really nice solid color, and also is great for moving the color around with blending. So in here, I mix greens and reds together, and you don't get mud, which is really awesome. So
that is a big problem. So that is nice.
Right, so for beginners, it's like I go in with any color I want. I don't love the color wheel and I don't love teaching it. And so for beginners, this is a great ink because you can blend any tones you want. Even if it does end up looking like you don't really love it because some colors really just don't look great together, you can always toss it, right? There's always a double-sided. We're never going to discontinue our cardstock, but the greens and reds and purples and greens really mix together to create some beautiful colors, which is awesome. So now let me put these to the side so we can start looking at some of the other design products. Now let's move into background stamps, right? So this one's called School Scribbles. I actually just graduated high school, but this is definitely what all my notebooks looked like. Thanks so much. But this is definitely what all my notebooks looked like, right? Just a great background stamp for lots of texture, and a really fun and playful one as well, which I love. I used it here to bleach it out. So this was an ink blended background, again, going in with whatever colors I wanted, ink blending, and then you lift the color off with a water when you stamp it. And this one too. I went in with such random colors that should make mud, but they don't. They blend together really beautifully.
Well, and I like the little icons that you have on the stamp set. It's little bits out of your life and your experience. And
right.
I can see it popping through there.
Definitely. Everybody's talking about this little S too, right? Everybody's pointing that one out. Love it. I used to draw that everywhere.
Bolts on there. I saw like the planets.
The little yes, no, and check no, right? Okay. So then we have prom dress, and I wanted to incorporate some more flowers in the line, but still in my own hand-drawn style. I drew most of these background stamps, which is awesome, and most of the clear stamps. Some of the stuff that you see with halftone patterns I didn't draw and create, but most of the hand-drawn look I did do myself, which is awesome. So these are awesome flowers in here, and I love this design because it's got a really great lined look to it, so you're able to go in here and color this in if you want to, or just heat emboss it on a piece of cardstock, and then you get a really great elegant look to it too, which is great. Now these ones are my peel apart background stamps. So this one's called Timber, and this one is called Watercolor Blooms. And what I love about this is you're able to peel it apart and get a bunch of different pieces to your background. So if you only want one tree on it, you only need one tree, right? Okay. Which I love. So no more masking, no more taping it off. You get the certain parts of the background stamp that you want. And then there's kind of jaggedy cuts in here. So if you want to put it back together to stamp the whole background stamp, let me do it here. I'll piece that all back together. It's super quick and easy to do.
They made a simple puzzle so that we can actually just play.
A simple puzzle, not 120 pieces, right? Only like 4. Let's put it back together easily. I keep my, oh, I did this the wrong way. Right, this is the side that's supposed to be upwards, but it's super easy to do. There's lots of detail in this birch tree background stamp too. I find that Stampers Anonymous does such a great job at making our stamps and making sure there's tons of detail in the red rubber and photopolymer as well. Yeah. And the cool part is the price is the same. So even with all these cuts in it, the price is the same as the background stamps, which is awesome. But it makes it into almost a tool and a whole other stamp set, which is great.
I really love that.
Thanks. And same thing with this background stamp. There's a halftone pattern on here, so lots of detail in there with different colors. But when you peel these pieces out, you get a bunch of little stamps in there, so you're able to create your own fun stamped cards.
And then you can use different colors for different sections and...
Definitely. So if you pop them back in, you can get this whole background, right? I actually watered this down so you get a nice smooth watercolor look. And this one is them stamped just by themselves. So you get to use lots of different colors and create your own look on your card, which is great.
That is just so smart. I absolutely love that.
And then to put it all back together, all you have to do is puzzle it in and then bend it a little bit. If any pieces are sticking out still, just bend it and it'll go right back into the rubber and fit together, which is great. Put all these pieces on here. Sometimes I lose these little guys, but make sure you put it all back together once you're done crafting, right? Don't be like me. So,
I'm sure we all have super, super tidy, organized crafting spaces.
I'm sure, right? Wink, wink, right? So let me grab a piece of white cardstock so I can show you these stamp sets. So this was definitely necessary. My own sentiment set, this one's called Encouraging Words, and they're really great big, bold sentiments to put on top of a background. So if you just finished a background and you don't want to color in a bunch of little images, this is really great as your focal point. And encouraging sentiments are really awesome. So follow your dreams and don't let anyone stop you. I'm so proud of you. You're a blessing. You're the best. You're perfect just the way you are, and you make me smile. So really great handwritten sentiments that I did, and I love how they turned out.
And I'm just jealous that that's your handwriting.
Right? It takes a little while to get it there and get it perfect, but I think it looks awesome. So then this one's called Flower Picking Friends. So big, bold flowers that'll fit perfectly onto an A2 size card as the focal, and then lots of little critters that can be holding them as well, which is super fun. That's not the card I'm looking for. This one is the card. So this is one example that I did of that awesome card with the flower and the little guy holding it, which is great. Then, of course, puppy puns. I love this one. A bunch of little dog heads that I drew. And then, you're a star, don't let the paparazzi stop you. Hugs, so glad I spotted you, sorry to pug you. Just a bunch of different fun and playful sentiments. And you can make them go through a window. This might be a product that I'm also going to show you today. But peeking over a sentiment banner. They also can go in some of the old stamp sets. So we have a stamp set called Space Training, and you can put these right inside of the astronaut helmet, which is great too.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
Right?
I love that you thought that out though, so that everything could kind of still work together.
Definitely. So if you have old products, be sure to use them with the new stuff too. I see lots of people incorporating different stamp sets together because they all really work together to create beautiful cards, which is awesome. Now this one is called Bird Buddies, and I love this one. It's got a bunch of different varieties of different styles of birds in here, which I love. A swing, a little birdhouse, and a tree. So I wanted some places to ground them and put them on, and this one just makes me smile. It's so much fun to use on your cards, which is great.
Well, and I could see using this with the tree from the
Totally.
set, like the trampoline set. What was that one called?
Yeah, it was called Timber.
Okay.
So the fun part about designing is we actually design them in groups of 3. So we sell them on the Ranger site in groupings of 3 and separately. So if a beginner wants to come in, they'll have different products that coordinate. So you'll see there's different products that go along with the dogs and different products that go along with the birds. So you can use them together and create products that work together really well.
Awesome.
Which is awesome. I'm sewing my words together. It's the 3rd day, so I apologize.
And he still has this much energy.
Right? Okay, so let's go in here. This one is called, did I drop something? This one's called Leafy Greens. So this one is a leaf stencil, which I love. And the cool part about this is you're able to go in and you can stencil it once to create, yep, this is the one. You can stencil it once to create more of a sporadic background like this one. So you get that more spaced out look. And then if you want them more filled in and put together, here's a background that I created where I just moved it and shifted the stencil a little bit to fill in those blanks with another color. And then I also blended it out to white to show you how well those inks blend, right? And this one is called Cordial Critters. And I just love this one. Let me put it against a darker background. So much fun. Lots of little bugs in there. This coordinates along with the flower picking friends. And I love how you can put texture paste through this, or I also use it to stamp, which I'll show you in just a second. But so much fun, this one. I love it. Then this one is called The Loo, and that's because I found these tiles, or a tile similar to it was inspired by it in the bathroom, so we named it The Loo. But just a really great geometric design that you can use on your card. Which is
All
awesome.
of your names are so fun.
Thanks
I have
so
to
much,
say,
right?
From your stamp sets now to The Loo.
Yeah, I named it halfway through the year, and then and then I came back to Creativation. I've been using this stuff for a while, and I was like, what was I thinking with that name, right? But it's funny, it's fun, so. This one's called the Window Maker Stencil, and this one creates a nice big window on your card. So this is what it'll create. Of course, you can add more to it to make it more 3D. Here's a more finished off one that we did, but so much fun, right? You can cut this out, put Christmas tree inside of there if it's seasonal, layer it up, and I love that you can use inks inside of here to create lots of different layers.
Right. And if you want to see more of this, you actually just recently did a YouTube Live.
Yep.
So you can go catch the recording of the YouTube Live.
My YouTube channel is just Simon Hurley, so if you want to catch the YouTube Live, I shared lots of how to use this stuff really in detail on there, which is awesome. And then last but not least, we have washi tape strips.
Oh.
So this is an 8-sheet pack. Nice and thin. I wanted it thin for storage, right? You still get lots of washi in here at such a great price point. Now, I'll grab a sheet here so you can see the designs better. And also over on the board there too, there's the washi tape kind of taped out on the white cardstock there. But all you have to do, peel it off the surface. It's the same washi material that's kind of thin and a little bit transparent as well. But what I love about this is it's my shrunken down artwork. So you're able to use it by yourself, cut these apart. I've already cut this one apart and have been using it already. But you're able to then create your own cards with it. So I've cut this design apart, stamp a sentiment, add a colored cardstock, and there's a finished card, right? If you need a quick card. You can also use them in your planner, which is so much fun. And of course, the snail mail and different things like that are great for sealing envelopes. And if you create a card with the flower picking friends, all this coordinates along with that, which is really great.
So cute.
So let me go in and do a quick stencil technique.
Okay. Because I think that having stencils is amazing because they're actually really affordable.
And super versatile to use too. They're like $5, but you can use them with a lot of different techniques as well, which I love. I've been doing this technique all day, and people have been absolutely loving it. So people always think that you can only go through stencils, which is really great technique, but if you want to also use stencils for stamping, it really does a great job at that. So I'll go in with Slippery When Wet, which is my first ink color here. Let's go on. I think I'm using, the wrong side. So when you're stamping with a stencil, you can totally use this side, but I found that in my classes that people were getting a better result from the other side. You get a little bit more of a vibrant color and it transfers better. So there is a shiny side and a matte side. And when you're blending with it, it doesn't matter what side you use. When you're stamping with it to transfer the ink, you probably should use the shiny side. It works a little bit better.
It just lets you apply the ink better to it?
Yeah, it slides a little bit more, and also it beads up a little bit more on the surface, so it transfers the ink better. Then I'll add a little bit of bee sting onto there. So these are some of my older colors, right? The older colors mix together really well with the newer ones. And then here is Tropical Tango. And I'm just going to clean off my surface quick here, right? And then I'm going to spray this down, and you want to add tons of water, right? Because a stamp is going to transfer that ink really well because it's made to. A plastic surface is not going to have the cushion or the stamping surface for that, so you want it to move and bleed like this. Once it's moving and bleeding, you know you have enough water on there, right? So a lot of people in class don't spray it enough, and they don't get the results that they want. I'm going to go under here and grab just a piece of cardstock quick. And then let me flip this over. Right onto my stark white cardstock, and the reason why I use stark white cardstock on here instead of watercolor cardstock is it dries a little bit quicker, it sinks into the surface, and it'll keep your design. Once you pull it off, it won't go moving and making mud, right? So it'll sink in and create that beautiful blend. And I use a piece of paper towel to lift off any color, so that way anything that comes out of the stencil is not going to ruin the design, it's just going to be picked up by the paper towel. I'll lift it off there, and there you have that beautiful background. And the more ink you add, hey Vicky, the more ink you add, the more of an awesome, vibrant color background you get, which is super cool. So be sure to use your stencils for stamping. It creates a super beautiful effect when you're using that. So it's a great price point too, which is awesome.
This has just been amazing. And how soon are these available, and where should people start looking?
Yeah, so these are going to be available in February. I'll let everybody know once they're available for shipping. You can also go to scrapbook.com, or you can go to Ranger Ink's site, and you can press the little sign up for emails button, and that way they'll have them listed for coming soon. If you sign up for the emails, they'll email you right when they're in stock, and you can go rush and buy all of this stuff, because I think a lot of this stuff's going to be picked up pretty quick, especially those background stamps. People have been super excited about those. So awesome. Well, it's been good to talk to you guys. I cannot wait for you guys to get your hands on the product, and I'm super excited.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Simon.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
This is Alice Bull from ScrapHappy.org at Creativation 2020 with Simon Hurley from Ranger.
Bye, guys.
1, 2, 3.